Hello and welcome to the MatrixGold webinars. In these webinars, what we want to show you is how to use MatrixGold to create or to design the most popular pieces in the jewelry trade. Today, what I would like to start with is with an infinity pendant. We also have one here in our content when you go to collections, and you go to pendants, fashion. As you can see, we have this infinity pendant here, and this is what I'm going to show you how to design in MatrixGold. All right, so I will start with the top view, and the first tool that I'm going to use is the Smart Curve. With the Smart Curve, once you click on it, you can go to the command bar and you can say if you want symmetry, we want horizontal symmetry, and we want it closed. All right, to be accurate, what I will do is use the grid snap. So I will start, just say from here, and I will do another one here, then another one here. I'm trying to find the symmetry so I have the same design. All right, so now as you can see, I have traced 4 points, and because I'm using the grid snap, the 4 points are in the symmetry, and so now once I click enter, I have this curve that is symmetric in this axe. Okay, so there you go. So this is the shape that I'm going to use to create my infinity pendant. Now, because I want one part of this infinity pendant be above the other part, what I will do is just select this point and this point. So I select this point and this point, and I just move them up. First, let me get the grid snap off, and now I just move them like this. Okay, so now as you can see, I still have this infinity shape, but now I raised this part so I can make a clean sweep and it will look much nicer. Now that we are just working with the curve, as you can see, I have all my points on. You can select and unselect the control points on from the quick commands, but you can also go to my preferences, that you will find them in the edit preferences, and when you go to the Rhino, here you can select what you want. So if you want the control points be turned on when you are selecting the curve, you just need to click here. I like this set like this, so this is how to have them on. If you don't want them to appear every time that you select the curve, just click this checkbox off. All right, so this is what we have as a base. Now that we have the base, if you want to save this curve in your projects, we have here the project actions. At any given time, what you can do is just, as you can see, if you go here, it is telling you to save to job back. So the only thing that you need to do is select the curve and click here. So now I'm saving the curve just in this job back. So at any given time, you can recover this curve from the job backs. Okay, now that we have the curve, I'm happy with this shape. The next thing that I will do is from the Tools tab, the Profile Placer. All right, so this is the new Profile Placer. As you can see, now we have icons in our tools. What it helps a lot on this software, so it's much more intuitive. At the first version that we had, we still didn't implement this. Now we have icons in most of the tools, what helps you a lot to understand and where to click anytime that you need to make any model. So first thing, I don't like the way that this profile is facing. So I will go to the Profile Placement method, and from this combo drop-down menu, I will just select Profile Placer Up. Beautiful. This is how I want it. Next thing that I'm going to do is just go to the Profile window, and I will select what profile do I want. As you can see here, you have plenty of profiles. The one that I would like to choose is this one. So I select this one, And now I have the profile already in my curve. I want to place more. I just don't want this. I want a few more so I can make it wider in one part, as a narrower in another part, and the shape will look much more nicer. So I go to edit and I start to work with it. So from here I can set up the width. As you know, you can do it from the viewport, or you can do it from the inside the tool settings in your right panel stack. So now, if you want to be very precise, you don't need to go here. You can just go here and say, okay, because I want to set, just say 1.5 millimeter stones, I will go to 2.5 millimeters, this area here, because this is where I'm going to set the stones. And now the height is 2 millimeters. In 1.7 will be okay for me. All right, so I place this one. Let me move it, not up, just let me move it in this direction. Like this is okay. So it will make this curve here. Then I will place another one. Let me think. Probably here will be a right place to place the other one. Now, as you can see, this is the last one that I just placed. But if I want to go back to this one, because I want to place it in the same place, I just need to click on the white ball that you have in the viewport and just move it. Now I just drag and drop wherever I want it. So now we have a couple. If I want to add another one, because we still have the command open, by the time that I get on top of the curve, as you can see, I have this picker that is showing me where I'm going to place next when I click in my mouse. So now if I click here, there we go. I got another one. And what I will do with this one is I will make it a bit smaller. So this infinity pendant will have, you know, a part that will be narrower. Okay. So as you can see, inside the same tool, you can place as many profiles as you want, and you can keep playing with them. So in case that you think this one needs to be wider, the only thing that you need to do is just click here in the picker, and what you can do next is just change any setting. The same if you want to modify this profile. So if you can choose from here, from the library, or what you can also do is go to the profile editor, where you can edit all the points and you can create any shape that you want. It's just a matter about adding or removing control points, or just dragging them wherever you want to create the shape that you want. All right. Okay. We still have the profile placer open. From inside the same tool, what you can also do is already do the sweep. So we have the activate auto sweep toggle, so we click on, and there we go. Look what we get. Let me go to this view mode, and in just one click we already get this shape. All right, now let's gonna start with the funny stuff from MatrixGold. So of course that we can keep playing with the curve. All right, so I go to curve, my points, control points get in the viewport. And what I will do, because I feel like this part here is too flat, I want it roundish because it will look nicer. So what I can do is select just these 4 points, and now what I will do is move them a bit up. All right, so now I think that the shape is nicer. And if I want, this part is too straight, so I want it a bit more curvy. So probably what we can do is just get this point and this other point here and here. And now what I will do, just keep playing with this. Okay. So now as you can see, I have this part that looks, you know, more roundish. I think that this is what we are looking for. And now this is the part where I will add all the different stones, because this is the wider part, so this is where we will add the points. So you have many possibilities with MatrixGold, because it's parametric and you have all the stack from the tools that you're using in your right panel. Now, if you want to keep modifying this shape, you still can go to the tool that we have been placing all the profiles and you can start to play. Okay, so now again I go with the profile placer. I just select the point and moving this, I'm just changing the shape. Alright, so you can, in real time, you can see what you are creating. Okay, so for instance, here in this part of the curve, I don't have control points, and maybe I want it a bit more roundy. So what if I move this that way? Look what I'm getting. So this is the beauty of this software. So in real time, you can see different shapes. All right, so it allows you to reach the design that you are looking for in a very easy way. So probably what I will do is just move it back to where it was, because that way the central part doesn't look that tiny. Okay, I'm happy with this shape now. Next step is get an isocurve, because what I want to do now is just place stones all this area here. So I need to get an isocurve because the stones will follow the shape of this infinity pendant. So from curves we have the extract isocurve. I click on extract isocurve and there we go. We already have the isocurve here. Have a look to the parameters that we have. Alright, so this is set up from 0 to 1. So if I just want it in the middle, what I need to do is go to 0.5. This is the rotation. So the rotation, we want it in 90 degrees, but we want it to 0.5. 0.5. So now we know that the curve is placed just in the middle of this geometry. This is what I want because it's where I want to set the stones. Alright, so now we already have the curve placed in top of this pendant. Another cool thing about this design is that, let me just, what I'm going to do now is a full save, so I will save all this part so we can play a bit with this shape that we are creating. So now I saved the full the full file, and now look, we still have, you know, the isocurve here. What happens if I select the curve and I just make it smaller, like this? In just one click, everything recalculates the isocurve, everything. So we have the parametric in our stack. So from just one file, I can make as many modifications as I want. And it's just not a matter about creating collections. It's most of the times when we are designing any piece of jewelry, we want to be sure that we achieve what the design that we are thinking about. So having all this parametric part in our right panel, it helps us to achieve the results that we want. Okay, so let me get back to what I had. Okay. Next step, now here I'm missing the stones. So I will select this isocurve and I will go to gems tab and I will select the gems on curve. Gems on curve, there we go. As you can see, the gems now are being placed in a funny way. The reason why is because, have a look at the very top. We have the curve, that this is our base curve that we are placing our stones, but we have the target object. So this is very convenient. So I click target object, it's the polysurface, and by the moment that I click on target object, the stones just sits in the right position, following, look at this, the shape of this model. I want stones through here, and probably what I will do is just move these ones to here. Let me check what dimensions do we have. It's 1.75. As I told at the beginning of this webinar, the stones that I'm looking for, the dimensions that I'm looking for were 1.5. So I will go and I will select from this list the 1.5 stones. From the gems on curve, we have a lot of different settings. Spacing, I want 0.2 because I want to set this with prongs. Okay, so this looks beautiful. And now the next step that I want to do is placement method. You see, we have three different options here. From the girdle, that is what we have now. From the gullet, that will be at the top of the curve, or method table. This means that we get the stones just at the same level than the table, because now what I will create next is a channel. So I will have the stones with a nice border, and I will be able to add the prongs, so we will have the right room to set the stones. I click enter. Let me go to wireframe. As you can see here, I have the display modes. So these are the 4 display modes that I use the most. So this is very convenient, because when you start the MatrixGold for the first time, you have all the options, all the display modes, and here you can set up the ones that you want. So you can set up the display modes from the preferences, as I showed you before, from edit preferences, or what you can also do that is very convenient. As you can see here, you have preferences, and directly you get already in the tab where you can select which are the view modes that you want to show. Cool. Next step, here I'm missing a channel. So I want to select the stones. We can select the stones from here, gems on curve, or what you can also do is go to the layers, and with the right button from your mouse, you click on top of this color and you select all the stones. All right, let me show you again. So I go here, once it's highlight, I click my right button and all the stones get selected. Okay, so now we have all the stones selected. We will go to the cutters, and here we have the channel cutter. I select the channel cutter, and this is what we get. Maybe now if we go to the wireframe, will be better, so we can see what are we creating here. Okay, so I want to place prongs here at the very end. So as you can see, this is just following the last stone, but what we can do is just change the end type. So now it's round. What I can do is cape it, that is in the middle of the stone, or flat, so it's the same that we had in round, but just where the stone end is. Or what we can also do is sharp corner if we want to add a stone. Probably for this one, what I will go is to the flat one. And as you can see here, I have the cap length. So if I go like this, I will get an extra room that will be very convenient to add the 2 extra prongs to set this stone. Now I am with symmetry. Okay, so whatever I'm doing here is happening at the other end. If you want to have different start and end, then what, sorry, I pressed enter, let me edit again. What you can do if you want to have, different start and different end is just go to end and mirror settings. So then if you switch this off, you are able to work with the 2 different sides, the start and the end. But now we will cap this in the same way. So I get this extra room here, I get the extra room also on the other side. And something else that I need to be aware is that, I have to rise this area, because when I will do the Boolean, I don't want to have any trouble. And you know that with Rhino environments, if you have any coplanar face, you can have problems. So height, you see you have the height and the placement. So the height, what we'll do is just increase the height. This is okay. And what probably I would like also to do is to move it a bit more up. Okay. Just keep in mind that the kind of setting that I'm doing now is just making this channel to place the prongs between the stones. But if you want to do a kind of French setting, what you can do is just make a narrow channel cutter and then just place the micro prong cutters that we have here, and you will get a very, very narrow result for the French setting. I will show you how to make it in another webinar. Okay, so we have the channel cutter done. I click enter. Let me have a look. How does it look like? All right. So now let's gonna use one of our new tools from MatrixGold. When we go to solid, we have the Boolean. This Boolean is parametric. So I click here and I select the first surface. This is the first surface. I press enter, and now it's asking me select second surface. As you know, we can do it from the viewport, or we can also do it just with a click with the right button from our mouse from here. Okay. So the second surface is select. I click enter now, and here it opens up the Boolean tool, and now I have to select what kind of Boolean type do I want. I want a Boolean difference. And there we go. The Boolean difference is done. All right, so if I have a first look to this, there is something that I don't like. And the first thing that I don't like is that the stones are too high. This is what MatrixGold gets very, very interesting. So if you have to do this in another software, it means that you need to go back to your job box, load again the last part that you have been working, but MatrixGold give you the easiest tools to modify anything. So the only thing that I need to do, now I click enter, and the Boolean is here. But the only thing that I need to do now is just go to where I created the gemstone curve. I go to edit, Wireframe, and even the stones are in the table method. What I can do is just go to placement and bring them down. All right, so let's have a look. Placement, and as you can see now, I'm just moving the stones a bit lower. Okay, did I did it? Yes. So I click enter, and as you can see, very easily it recalculates everything, and look at that. Now this is what I was looking for. So this is where I want the stones, just because now the stones get, you know, the right room. So now even if the customer is wearing this pendant, if he hits the pendant here, the stones will be very, very well protected. So this is what I want to have. Okay, so what we will do next is another full save. So I'm saving what I have done until now. There you go. Okay. All right, let's go for the second move with the stones. We have done the channel cutter. What the stones are missing now is the prongs. So I select the stones from the layers, and from settings we have the prong placers. In just one click you get the prong placers. The prong placer tool has many different settings, so you can achieve any result that you want, because this is the general one. So you can just taper them, the dam amount. You can go and get them closer to each other from the notch, and the prong diameter now is 0.5. I like to be 0.6, so the prongs look more nice like this. I like that. Cool. Okay, so we have prongs, we have stones, and you know, I want this model to be a bit lighter, so probably what I would like to do is to make the stones cutters. We do again the same that we have done before. So we select the stones, and then from the cutters we go and select gem cutters. with the gem cutters you have also a lot of settings. So first I will just drop this a bit, like this is okay. And you see, I don't want these cutters to interfere with the bottom part, so the bottom length I will bring it up, not that much. Let me go to wireframe so I can see how far I am. Let's see how does it looks like now. I don't want to have any trouble, you know, so all of them look perfect. Again, we have many different options with these cutters, so I like the way that are looking now. What if we want, instead being round, to be squarish? I just go to Azure, and from the Azure we have all these settings, and here at the very bottom we have the bottom profile override. So I click here, and what I get is, you know, the profile selector. So now, as you can see, I get this profile picker, and so now I can create any shape that I want. And you have all these settings. Let me go to wireframe so you can see what are we getting. If you want to make it, if you want to rotate it, you can rotate it, so you can make it a bit wider also. So now they are closer each other. Alright, so I just want to be sure, you know, that we don't have any coplanar face. Let me go back to the first tab, and just I will bring them a bit more lower. So from here I will just move them a bit more. Okay, let's be sure that we are not touching the bottom part, so that looks good. Okay, so what's next step? Again, we go to the solid, we go to the Boolean, we select the first surfaces, we select the second surfaces. Now here we will have the combo opening up, so we want another Boolean difference. Boolean difference, now it's calculating, enter, and look what did we get. So now if I just hide the stones, we have a very nice pendant ready to deliver. Alright, so let me bring the stones back, and now again what I will do with this, another full save. So we have this pendant ready. Okay, so now we have this pendant from MatrixGold, and this is not the end. And let me tell you what, now that you have this model, you can keep this model in your collection. So we have the content manager, and you can create any collection here. So you can create we will create these new webinars designs. I click OK. So now I have the webinars designs, and from here, when I click it on it, I can save as many models as I want. So I go to Save to Collections. This will be the 01, and I can add a description. So the description will be infinity pendant, and save to collections. So now it's saving. So what I will get, look, is this. Just imagine that you have a few of different models here. Anytime that you click on any of the models, you will get a lot of information. So which is the weight in diamonds, which is the weight in metal, and look how cool it is when you click on the eye from information. You click here, and without opening the file, it's telling you straight away which amount of stones do you have here and the total weight and the dimensions. This is so useful for any jeweler. So you can go to all your collections, and from your collections you can start to see the characteristics of any model that you have in your collections. So this is very useful. Alright, so we have the first model for this webinar. Now, just say that, you know, we have this done, we just send the model to our customer and we create a new one. But now suddenly, so now we have this, that it's, you know, we don't have anything saved from what we did from that model, from the infinity pendant. And your customer is telling, you know what, I really like it, but I want it with less stones. So I don't have a big budget, so I want less stones to that model. That's very easy. I go to my collections, and from my collections I go to the webinars designs. I have this one. I double click on it. So now is loading all the stack, all the steps that we have done in this model. As you can see, he's thinking, and there we go. I have all the steps that I have created. So this is already in your library. So the customer was asking for less stones. The only thing that we need to do, and just keep in mind that the Booleans and everything is done, all right? So the only thing that I need to do is just go to Gems on Curve. I go to Edit. As you can see, here is the starting point, the end position, sorry. I move it here. And now it's thinking, it's recalculating all the Booleans because we have done this. And I will do the same from the start position. Okay. So now, once everything is done, I click Enter. And there we go. We have the same pendant with less stones. Now, from the top view, I can just measure which is the top dimensions. And look, the top dimension, this is about 24 millimeters, okay? What if the customer is asking us to make it a bit smaller? As I told you before, the only thing that you need to do is get the original curve. Let me get it. Here is this one. Okay. So now I have the original curve, and the customer wants everything smaller. So if I wanted to say 20 millimeters, select the curve. I do something like this. And there we go. Now it's 20 millimeters. No, a bit more, so I can keep just, you know, because I can see this square, so now will be around 20 millimeters probably. Yeah, so now it's around 20 millimeters. And as I said, just, you know, moving these points, you can keep doing any change that you want. If you want this part narrower, I do like this. So now I have this part narrower and this one wider. So, and you know, the Boolean keeps recalculating, and you can get whatever your customer wants. Even if you want to change the profile placer, you select the curve, edit. Now if I want this a bit smaller, to 2.3, again, it's recalculating everything, and now it's a bit narrower. So you have plenty of options once your model is done, just to, you know, it's not to create a lot of different designs or a collection from this, because at the end of the day, most of the designs that are made today is one model for a specific customer, but MatrixGold allows you to achieve just what you want and keep making modifications in a very, very, very easy way. So have a look to this webinar, try to make it yourself, and just start to play with different curves and using the steps that I have been showing you in this webinar, and you will see how much do you enjoy playing with MatrixGold. This has been this first webinar for August. I will keep you posting webinars during August, so I hope you enjoy it. You will find all these webinars in our YouTube channel, so please have a look to them. Try to make that with your license and let us know how does it goes. Thank you so much and enjoy it.